Welcome to your pose of the week. Tonight we are taking a look at the eagle leg fold pose. This is a great stretch to work into the hips. We'll be working into those external rotators, muscles on the outside of our hips, the abductors, all sorts of the good stuff. So let me show you what it looks like, and then we'll walk through some different modifications. So for eagle legs, I'm gonna try to turn this way. Maybe you see a little bit of a better shape here. You'll take the left knee and you'll lay the knee on the mat with your heel to the outside of your right hip. And then you'll stack the right knee on top with the heel to the outside of the left hip. Find some length through the spine. Of course, if you come to this space, which we'll break it down here in just a minute. But if you're here and there's a great stretch, remember, doesn't matter. All these that I'm going to show you are just options for you to try. We're really just trying to find that stretch and hold there. So if you're here, this feels great. You're fine to stretch, stay here. But to deepen it, you'll find some length through the spine. Maybe draw the shoulders back. We'll crawl out and fold over the legs. So let's break it down here. So this time I'll lay my right shin down. So remember, especially at the beginning of your practice, of your stretching journey, a lot of these poses might be new for you and new for your body. So in that first phase, it is essentially building up a tolerance to these poses, and you want to get into them as close as you can, but not overdo it. So essentially you're training the muscles in the nervous system to be okay with these poses and to understand that all is well. We're not purposely putting ourselves in danger or anything like that. So with that being said, we'll move through it slowly so you can see how you can build up to this. So laying the right knee down on the mat like so, and then work towards getting the heel to the outside of the left hip. Now, as you start to move into this shape, you will start to feel the hip stretch. And in this case, we're going to feel a lot on the outside of the right hip here. So maybe you just walk your foot, walk your foot, walk your foot. Maybe you walk your foot over the other side. And for some people, staying right here, they start to feel stretch. That's great. So maybe you just pause here for a little bit, relaxing here, breathing here, closing your eyes, tuning in. And when you start to feel the knee dropping externally, starting to drop away from the body or your midline, start to heel toe your foot a little bit more towards the right. And again, maybe you pause right here and you feel the knee start to drop. You walk it in, walk it in, walk it in until you can get to where you can start to stack your knees one on top of the other. Now, if you're in this space here, and there's a couple things you're noticing, maybe you're starting to feel some real discomfort in the lower back. It's more of a distraction for the back to hold you upright. If you're starting to feel that, or maybe you have really tight hips, because let's face it, we all have tight hips, you can sit up on a couple of blocks. Maybe you start on 2 blocks. Maybe you lower down to a block. Maybe you can lower all the way down to the ground. You can also sit on top of a blanket. So check in with that as you start to set up your shape. Now, if you're here and the knee is way, way up, sometimes it's okay to let it hover for a little bit, because you will see that as you're here, you start to create space and the knee can drop down deeper into the stretch and closer to the bottom knee. But if you're here and you're feeling some tightness there that you're pretty sure it's not going to go away within these next few minutes of holding this pose, feel free to play around with maybe stacking a block in between the knees, or better yet, use a blanket or even use a pillow. Pillows and blankets are awesome. They're squishy, so it gives space for your body and your muscles to deepen into the stretch when it is ready. You can also do this on a chair as well. And with the chair, maybe I can show you guys that sometime. But with the chair, you would just sit on the edge of the chair and just start to cross your legs like so. I'll find the moment to show you guys how to do that one, because the chair one is really nice to do, especially if you're sitting at work at a desk, or you need to work, or you feel like working on some of your stretches. All right, so we've got our knees stacked. If you can, start to point your toes towards the back behind you, back wall. Getting a little bit of stretch here in our ankles. And then maybe you're here and you've been in this option for a little bit and you're starting to feel like you could go a little bit deeper. Then you want to find that length through the spine. And just as we were practicing the beginning of the video, we start to fold over. So think about moving forward instead of straight down. Find the length, maybe draw shoulders back slightly and hinge forward. Sometimes just coming slightly forward. Let me see if I can come to the side here so you can see a little bit better. So for right here, first of all, make sure you have that length that you can hold the spine straight without any extreme discomfort. If there is any discomfort, or if you are sitting up on blocks, I would recommend just staying up on blocks until you find the space in your hips, stretching the muscles out enough that you can come off of the blocks and then practice hinging forward. But if you're on the blocks, just stay upright. If you can sit down on the ground and the knees are smushing together without any discomfort, then try folding over. So length through the spine, maybe draw shoulders back, and think about leading with your chest moving forward. And again, sometimes just slightly hinging forward will help deepen the stretch. In this case, you're going to feel a lot on the outside of the left hip. Maybe as you're creating space, you can go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. And maybe you come all the way forward. You can come down to forearms. Or maybe you want to stack some blocks here for the forehead. Practice palms up. And melting here. Really creating and making this stretch as supportive as you can make it. Because the more support that you add in there, the more that the body's going to relax and the more that the muscle is going to stretch, creating more space, which also means flexibility and more muscle growth and mobility and all that good stuff. So that is your when you come out of it very, very slowly. That is your eagle leg fold there. Remember, those are just options here. Do not rush into this. Do not force your legs to go anywhere. Move into it very, very slowly. With time and with practice, you'll start to create the space to drop in a little bit deeper each time you practice your pose. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any other modifications that are your favorite, let me know. And I hope to see you in one of the classes very, very soon.